When was the last time you were hungry? I mean, really hungry. Like stealing food from a mom who's about to feed her baby kind of hungry. Chances are never. Hopefully never. Not unless you're like Joseph Kim before his escape from North Korea, as he said on his TED Talk. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Western world. The world you know so well, where we never have to ask ourselves, will we eat today? But rather, what will we eat today? We seem to have everything. Food, water, shelter, games. And heck, if that's not enough, you can wash down your sorrows. Or whatever pleases you. So, why is it then that in countries like the United States or Canada, suicide rates are on the rise? I mean, if they're taking their own lives, it clearly means they're unhappy. Yet, in poor countries, people would give so much just to have a fraction of what we have here. There's a show called The Most Dangerous Ways to School, where children walk hours to school just for a chance for a better future. In some countries like Kenya, children have actually been attacked by lions on their way to school. Here, we don't have to worry about lions. We just have to worry about ourselves. The World Health Organization declared depression the top cause of disability in the world today. Compared to generations past, depression strikes earlier, now often in the late teens, and affects more people, with the highest rates among young adults in developed countries. So, what are we doing wrong then? Maybe money isn't everything. Maybe having nice things isn't everything. Ibrahim Maslow was the son of two Jewish parents who fled to the United States from the Russian Empire. Maslow became a psychology professor at various American institutions. He was a humanistic psychologist. He was interested in the human potential and he studied the human need. Eventually, he ended up developing a pyramid. This is what Maslow is most well known for, his hierarchy of needs pyramid. We now call this Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow believed that the human needs are made up of 5 parts, but these needs are on a hierarchy, and the lower levels must be satisfied first before moving upwards. Starting on the very bottom, we have physiological needs. Things such as food and water. If you're watching this video, chances are these needs are satisfied for you. One above is safety needs. Arguably, the developed world is safer than before. Throughout the last decades, almost constantly, crime rate has been decreasing in places such as New York or London, England. Then we have love and belongingness needs. These include things like intimate relationships and friends. Once that's fulfilled, we can move on to esteem needs. These include feelings of accomplishment and prestige. Finally, we get to self-actualization, or achieving one's full potential. The pyramid can be further divided into 3 parts. These include basic needs, psychological needs, and self-fulfillment needs. The developed world is not perfect, but it does a fairly good job meeting our basic needs, our safety needs, and our physiological needs. However, it's questionable if the American culture does a good job meeting our psychological needs. I think it's fair to say that for a lot of people, their love and belongingness needs are not being met. And why are they not being met? Well, at first, maybe like you, I thought that the answer was obvious. People are spending a lot of time in front of the screens and not with each other. They're playing games, they're spending time on social media, but they're not socializing in real life. But what's surprising is in 2012, the World Happiness Report ranked countries from the happiest to the least happiest countries. The report also measured the standard deviation between the countries. That is, how much variation there is within people's reports on their happiness within the countries. Interestingly, Scandinavian countries consistently rank as the happiest countries in the world. This is interesting because these countries are developed countries. They have access to as much games and as much social media as people do in Canada or America. So maybe it's not screen time that's depressing us. At least there's much more to this story. When a country reaches the status of a developed country and they pivot their strategies, where the individuals, instead of focusing on more material possessions, and instead they focus on the spirit of trust, cooperation, and community, they tend to be happier versus materialistic people. Psychologists have found repeatedly that individuals who put a high premium on higher incomes generally are less happy. Yes, of course, individuals in high-income countries are happier than individuals in starving countries. But within these high-income countries, countries that focus on social equality, trust, and good quality of governance tend to be happier than the ones that focus on financial progress. Study after study finds that the need to belong runs deeper than the need to be rich. What these Scandinavian countries can teach us, though, is we can be wealthy and have a mentally healthy society. So why are Scandinavian countries so happy? I think it's only fair to start off the same way as the World Happiness Report of 2020. What are not factors when it comes to their happiness? Number one, racial homogeneity. Thank goodness that does not seem to be a factor when it comes to people feeling like they belong with their communities. Number two, cold climate. There was a theory that Scandinavian countries being cold makes it easier for them to be less aggressive. Number three, being born in your own country. That also does not seem to be a factor when it comes to belonging. In fact, 19% of Swedish people are not born in Sweden, and they report the same level of happiness as native-born Swedish people. So what are the factors that do play into their happiness then? Trust is robustly correlated with life satisfaction. This goes for trusting in people and in institutions. Social cohesion is also very strongly correlated with happiness. Social cohesion is most highly ranked in Denmark, Finland, and Sweden. Social cohesion measures connectedness to other people, having good social relations, and having a focus on the common goal. Humans are social creatures. We need each other. Our forefathers did not go mammoth hunting by themselves. And your house, your car, you don't have it by doing it yourself. In the US and Canada, individualism is very valued. And there isn't anything wrong with individualism, but taken to an extreme, it can lead to depression. It's good to be self-reliant, but it's great to be part of a group that cares for you. Your friends, family, pets. Don't forget, there are others out there that do care for you. There are people out there that want you to feel loved and that you feel like you belong. You have control over your own life. You can strengthen your existing relationships or build new ones. For a large part of history, our society had to focus on materialism. It is what allowed us to attain the standard of living that we have today. Indoor plumbing, electricity, medicine. Us becoming as materialistically efficient as we are today is what allowed us to attain all that. But there comes a point where we can take our foot off the accelerator, when we have reached the materialistic standard of living we need, and we can begin to focus on our quality of life. Google's Engram shows us we have become fascinated with cyberpunk, which is basically dystopian capitalism. But if we can maintain a balance between quality of life and materialism, this isn't something we'll have to worry about.